going to be the first video of manual swapping Guillermo's IS300. This is going to be part 1, where we're just basically going through all of the parts required to manual swap an IS300. And we are going to have a part 2, which is going to be dismantling everything, and then part 3, which is throwing everything back into the car. And maybe a part 4 if we do the wiring first, like his car by ourselves. If not, then we'll just like discuss what was involved to do the wiring. But yeah, so this video is going to be on everything required to manual swap an IS300 and the differences between the years, and along with all the parts we got and why we picked those parts, starting with which transmission we went with. We decided to go with the W58 just because it is a little bit beefier than a W55 and around the same cost. And this gives Guillermo the option, if you wanted to reuse this transmission when he goes 1J in the future. And moving down from that, actually first, this W58 isn't a traditional like truck W58. It is from a SC300, so it has the iron center and is a little bit stronger than a normal W58. Plus the shifter feels a little bit better. And moving down from that, we got a Xcessive one-piece drive shaft.
You acting like I know what I'm looking at, man.
It's right here.
Okay.
We decided to go with the Xcessive one-piece drive shaft because, well, first we couldn't use a stock manual IS300 drive shaft because the W58 is a little bit different, like in size. So when we decided to look at like drive shafts, we decided just to upgrade it, because if we were to buy a stock drive shaft and have it, I can't remember if it's extended or shortened, it would end up costing more than just buying a brand new one-piece drive shaft. So we got a new one. And then moving from that, we went with our clutch setup. We decided to go with, well, first with the flywheel right here. We decided to go with a single mass flywheel just to like have less areas of the car that could wear, because the dual mass does have some play and it could wear out. Then moving to the clutch, we decided to go with the Xcessive OEM style clutch just because this is going to be Guillermo's like first manual car. We don't want to go crazy with it and make the car something he hates. So we decided to go with the Xcessive OEM clutch and pressure plate. Moving to the right of that, you could see the throwout bearings. We did get a W55 one and a W58 one because at first we weren't sure what we were going to do, but now we have both in case we need one or the other. Moving to the right of that, that's a pilot bearing. If you are manual swapping a car, you do need a brand new manual pilot bearing, as the auto one's a little bit different, along with the clutch alignment tool to put all of this together. And then moving to clutch hydraulics. So what we decided to do was get an OEM master cylinder, just because aftermarket ones can fail and this is not something we want to be changing too often. And then we decided to go with the OEM style Luke replacement slave, just because it is OEM quality and should be able to handle the abuse of, I don't know, learning how to drive a manual car plus some drifting. And then moving from that, we decided to go with a stainless clutch line, just because the OEM ones are kind of difficult to get. But yeah, one thing I skimmed over and I completely forgot to mention is for the clutch and flywheel, we decided to go with ARP hardware just because it was the same cost as getting brand new OEM hardware, so we decided to get the better hardware. While we're in the area of the transmission and clutch area, we decided to replace the rear main seal because more than likely, with how many miles all these IS300s have, it's leaking. And now, how is this thing gonna bolt into the chassis? We decided to go with an Xcessive Crossmember because we couldn't find an OEM one, and this one is a little bit beefier from my understanding. I think the OEM ones can snap. And then while we were ordering this, we decided to also go with the Xcessive polyurethane transmission mount because as you can see, it's a lot beefier than the traditional rubber ones, which can degrade right here and have a lot of play. So we decided to just upgrade it since we're already ordering this. And now the pedals. Now this I could already tell is going to be extremely difficult because how many pieces there are. We could have went with the Xcessive clutch pedal, which would have been a lot easier. But personally, I don't like how they look. And plus, I don't know, something about an aftermarket clutch pedal just seems very weird to me. So we decided to go with the OEM clutch pedal, which unfortunately comes in pieces. So we will be showing how to put all that together. And we decided to also get a OEM manual brake pedal, because when you cut your brake pedals, it works. But the thing is, auto brake pedals are a little bit closer to you in the cabin, so it'll just feel weird if you're like driving the car and going for the brake pedal. So I personally like to run a manual brake pedal, just feels a little bit better. And then trans tunnel. You are gonna have to cut your trans tunnel a little bit on 2002 through 2005, just a little bit on the top section. And to fill the gap, we decided to go with, Guillermo, what brand is this?
Not too sure. I think it was, I could double check.
Well, we decided to go with this transmission cover, which basically will seal up the hole that we cut and put a little rubber area to insulate the trans tunnel. And then to help insulate the trans tunnel, we decided to get some more heat shielding, so the carpet and leg area, the firewall area isn't too hot. And the differences in this area between the 2002 and the 2001s is that 2002 through 2005 and the 2001 is the 2001 has a very small opening in the trans tunnel, so you're gonna have to cut a little bit more, but honestly it's not that big of a deal. Like if you want a manual swap in 2001, you can do it. And then the wiring aspect, we did get an emulator from somewhere, I'll link it, and basically we left it at Guillermo's house, so we'll show that at a later date. That will basically clear all the check engine lights and take the car out of limp mode, because when you do manual swap these cars, they are going to go into limp mode. And yeah, that's pretty much everything required to manual swap a IS300.